Well, for centuries, white sturgeon have called Idaho's Snake River home, but decades ago, their survival was in question. Well, now, thanks to collaborative efforts and some innovative research, not only is the species thriving, but it's also helping Idaho lead in a way for the sturgeon farming. We're going to take you to Hagerman and explain in today's Inside Ag. White sturgeon have been swimming through the Idaho waters for generations, some growing more than 10 feet long and living over 100 years. But not long ago, these ancient fish were almost gone.
The population was becoming threatened for white sturgeon here in the Snake River. And the sturgeon populations that were native here were under lots of different pressures, from different anthropogenic land use and different runoff that caused. Of course, being able to put in hydroelectric power throughout the reaches from here all the way through the Columbia has changed their migratory pathways, as well as just kind of overfishing in those early 1800s.
By the 1980s, those same waters were nearly silent, and something had to change. Idaho Fish and Game, Idaho Power, University of Idaho, and CSI all came together to rear sturgeon in the hatcheries and replant them into the river. That conservation effort not only saved the species, it sparked a booming new industry.
After that program had subsided, there was extra fish left over that were used to be able to create the thriving white sturgeon industry that we now have here in Idaho.
The Magic Valley is the heart of it all. A few years ago, there were 10 caviar producers, and while that number has lowered, Idaho still ranks second in the United States for sturgeon and caviar, behind only California. And chefs across the country are taking notice.
Many chefs will tell you that the white sturgeon here in Idaho produce some of the most sought-after caviar, particularly within the nation, but internationally as well.
But producing that prized caviar isn't easy or cheap.
For a caviar fish, you're going to hold on to that female for some 14 years before you're able to harvest caviar. So you can think about kind of the liability, cost, and risk that goes into that.
That's why researchers at the University of Idaho are now focused on one thing: the fish's diet.
We've put a lot of effort into researching ways to improve the nutritional inputs. So can we reduce the cost of those ingredients that go into the diets while we're still producing a high-performing diet that takes care of all the nutritional requirements of sturgeon, but at a lower price point?
They work on balancing protein, fats, and carbs to make it cheaper for producers to run the business. They're not just looking at growth, but making sure fish stay healthy and produce top-quality caviar and fillets.
We also had to watch and make sure that these diets weren't causing excess of visceral fat, where those fish would be depositing excess nutrients in the internal cavity of the fish. So we made sure that we were selecting a diet that was actually growing harvestable fillet product or creating a more valuable caviar egg clutch as well.
It's research that could help keep Idaho's sturgeon industry profitable for decades to come.
Being able to reduce some of those input costs in the production pipeline is going to help those businesses, continue to thrive and push out the valuable products that they have for consumers.
And as for fishing for sturgeon, all must be released unharmed, and it's illegal to remove the sturgeon from the water. It's called low-impact fishing, and it helps keep the population strong for the next generation of Idahoans.